Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's edition of DC on TV, where we go over everything that happened in the Arrowverse. I'm Pablo.
I'm Justin.
And this week, to kick us off, we have a brand new episode of Supergirl. Justin, what'd you think of this episode?
This week on Supergirl, it was more of the Kara Mon-El stuff, right?
Okay.
If I'm correct.
Correct.
It was there's Hitman. Someone hired someone to go after Supergirl. Like they put a bounty on her head, and then you find out who's doing the bounty, and then you get more of a Melissa, what's her name storyline? What's her sister's name? Maggie and Alex storyline. Why did I say Melissa for some reason? I don't know, folks. But yeah, that's basically what happened, right? Is there anything I'm missing on that one?
No, it's pretty
That's
much
it, right?
you covered the main things.
What do you think of it, Pablo?
I didn't really like it.
Really?
Shocker, right? Here's the
What
thing
a
I didn't.
surprise. Pablo being negative towards something.
The thing I didn't like was the last few episodes. It's all been about Kara saying, just because you do one simple thing doesn't make you, just because Kara is telling Mon-El, just because you do one simple thing doesn't make you a different person. But this episode, it started off with, look, you're reading, you're watching shows, you're changing. You can't really go 3-4 episodes saying you can't change off one thing and then do it in the first 2 minutes of the episode and expect people to just say, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt it was a little slow pacing. The action, I'm glad it had some action in it. The action, it was good, I thought. Did you think the action was good?
I really liked the action. We
the
had
first bounty hunter guy, and then she fought Mon-El.
Yeah.
Mind controlled.
Exactly. It was variation, and that's something we kind of haven't had, because it's mainly been one villain or a seasoned villain. It hasn't really been, I guess, monster of the week.
Yeah.
For a lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just one small dislike. There are a lot of things I did enjoy about this episode.
Yeah, me too. I liked a lot of things. I liked the ending. Spoilers, obviously, but I liked the whole thing. So you find out it's Mon-El's mom. She's the one putting all this stuff.
I really like that. The acting,
She's good. She's
I was convinced.
She got Emmy, homie.
And not her acting, which was fine. I'm not saying her acting was bad. What was the other guy? Hercules?
Kevin Sorbo.
His acting, amazing.
And you would not think that coming from Hercules. That Hercules run. But I like that. I like the whole fight scene with her and John Jones, Terry Hatcher. That was cool when he was Supergirl. And then Wynn showed up. And yeah, that whole thing was cool. So I guess okay, so the thing is that the only problem I do have with this episode is this is the second tease I want to say that we've gotten that Linda Carter is a white Martian, right? The president.
Oh, yes.
And there's so many things going on. Okay, so we're wrapping up. This is already going to be April, right?
Yes.
And we'll have maybe till May, so we've got maybe 5 or 6 weeks left. And what's the big bad guy? Is it
exactly
Lionel?
Where is it going? Is it the Luthers?
Linda Carter?
Yeah,
Wonder Woman?
exactly.
Is it Mon-El's mom? There's no real this season. Hasn't been a real overarching story arc, right? What do you think that is? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. I think it's a mess because of the whole rewriting and changing to CW.
That's probably what it is. They probably didn't know what they were getting till late in the season, or late till before, you know what I mean, script writing wise. So I believe that probably could have had a hand in it. Because
a lot of characters have changed. One quick point that I also disliked was the Maggie and Alex story. It seemed completely different from the episode. The episode was... They were both good.
Not a lot of Alex in it, huh? Really? Just, as far as Alex DEA Alex.
Yeah, they were both
DEA,
good
whatever.
stories, but just together, they didn't seem to mesh. There was no real connection that made me believe... why is this important to this story?
Yeah.
And it just goes on to prove from season 1, if I remember correctly, Alex was the person who was methodical, knew everything she was getting into, had everything prepared, and it just seems like they didn't follow through this season because of the network change, So let's rewrite her character, and her whole thing about jumping into, I got to find out why they broke up. It seems so out of character for her, at least to me. That was just my thoughts on it. You had something to add?
Yeah, the last thing I would add before we move on is that, if it wasn't for that ending, that great fight scene at the end, and then the Terry Hatcher, Kevin Sorbo kind of little stinger at the end, this episode would have been way worse for me. I would not have liked it as much as I did. I really had fun with that scene. So yeah, I would this would have really been bad for me. But on a good note, Flash came back this week, Tuesdays. What'd you think of this week, or what happened this week, Pablo, on Flash?
So on The Flash, it's all about him still trying to get to Savitar. How do we stop Savitar? How do we find out more about him? And it just so happens that a villain from the future comes. Who would have thought it, right? A villain from the future.
Not on the Flash.
Comes back, messes with Team Flash. He ends up getting captured. You know, Team Flash does their job, and then he throws out the ultimatum of he's being hunted by Gypsy, who we find out he had a run-in with her and her partner. Yeah. There's some history there. So they have him in custody, and it's now up to Barry to decide what to do. This guy, Abracadabra.
But Barry doesn't decide.
He doesn't decide. The guy tries to coerce Barry into making a decision of, I can let you know who this guy is if you let me go.
Yeah.
So it's just the moral dilemma of, should we let him out? What's right? What's wrong? And that's pretty much the episode. It's just about decisions and how they affect you. Yeah.
But it was a really good episode, I thought.
So what are some things what are just your thoughts in general, or some things you liked or disliked?
I liked the bad guy. He was cool, a little over the top, and I think it fit his character. Man, he must be like the most powerful character we've ever seen on The Flash, though. Like, they really didn't describe his powers, just that he's magic, right?
Exactly.
But like, Barry grabs his arm and it turns into a fake arm. Like, is it just that he's a magician? Like, it makes no sense. He could just disappear. He could appear anywhere, it seemed like.
I don't have answers for you. This is kind of deep into Flash lore.
Is he like a villain from Flash?
I have no idea. I've never heard of him. I've never heard of him.
I dug it though. He was super cool, I think. But other than that, it was a good episode. The whole Joe dilemma, like Joe's acting was good. Everything was good. It was good. Everything. I have no complaints from this episode. Do you?
I wasn't the biggest fan of trying to justify it that way.
If you say so.
But again, I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Another thing, now going on to something that I did like, which I really, really liked. They've done this many times before throughout the season. Just name DC properties. They brought in Stag Industries. So you have Cord Industries, famous for creator of the Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
So it's nice seeing these little references that people will pick up on.
Blue Beetle will be a good character to throw into this universe. I think they've
I've heard that they've tried it a few. I believe on Flash. I've heard a few things about it. Yeah, it would make perfect sense. It would be someone, but then it gets to exactly. He is depending on where you get him. He in the timeline he could be a high school kid. So it would add a different dynamic that I would be interested to see.
Yeah. What are some things you liked about this week though? I like the whole Caitlyn thing at the end. Spoilers, but man, that was crazy. It has like this upbeat tone to it, and then it just goes dark real fast. And the whole thing of like, I'm just gonna take this thing off. I thought she was gonna be dead. Honestly, I don't think they're gonna kill her off.
I didn't think so.
After I don't want to jump ahead, but I saw Legends of Tomorrow before I saw this episode. So after I saw what happened on Legends, which we'll get to, I was like, holy crap, this could happen on here too.
Let me just end this with why I do. I want to see where that goes. I didn't think that they were gonna kill her off. I was just waiting for it. You know, they've teased it since the beginning of the season.
Too. Oh, so waiting for killing her off?
I thought Killer Frost.
Okay.
It was just a matter.
There quick though, huh?
Yeah, it was just a matter of time.
And I'm glad we're finally here. She was like, I was the only man I had time before I get out of here. It seemed like.
So I'm excited. Let's see where this goes. But that pretty much wraps up the Flash. Moving on to Legends. Justin, tell us a little about this episode.
What didn't happen on this episode? Okay, it takes place in an alternate reality where the Legion used the spear for their benefit. Which was crazy. The opening is them killing Felicity, so Pablo was really sad. You know, he loves her. He loves him some Felicity. Not as much as he does Olicity, but he does love Felicity. So it's crazy. And then so like Damien's mayor again. He's got his magic. Merlin's got his hand back. Eobar's running Star Labs, and Heatwave and Mick are stealing everything. And the Legion's just there. Or I'm sorry, the Legends are just there apparently, like as their toys. What do you think of this episode though, Pablo?
I really enjoyed this episode. Legends has been killing it the past 2 episodes. It's been more. It's been
killing it all season for me.
The episodes have been great. I haven't agreed with them all, but overall, I think this is probably one of the most solid CW shows they've had this season. Mm-hmm. What do you tell us about some things that you liked and disliked?
Okay. There's only one really big problem I had with it. The fact that last week it was Mick joining the Legion, and then all of a sudden now with his first episode with the Legion, he's tired of them. I think we've said it before. Like, remember they had a Christmas episode like a few weeks ago? It seems like the thing that's bad about this is that, I don't know, maybe it's they don't want to do like, the Christmas episode for Legends should be excuse me, Christmas episode for Legends should be like right here. It's like all over the place, kind of like we've said that maybe the whole 4 things for episodes shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of getting at.
Like not every season needs to be 22 episodes. You can have some that are short.
Yeah, but the fact that they feel like they have to keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when they take one off, then it makes weird sense because then it's a Christmas episode, like a Valentine's Day episode.
Okay. Yeah, they are kind of random on that, and that is one thing I disliked.
Let me continue though.
Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, and the fact that like this would have been way better if we would have had more. Like, it would have hurt more if, Mick was still on the team. Because then, spoilers, when they get that reality gun, which I had another problem with, that, like, they all want to punch him. He just left you guys. It shouldn't be that much hurtful. Like, if he killed somebody or did worse things.
Exactly. But to add to, at the end of the episode, even everyone agrees, why should this guy trust us? We gave him no reason to trust.
Yeah.
For him to trust us. So how does that change from one episode to the other?
Yeah.
And he's just okay with it. He's
just okay with it. He's just not, as long as he's not being treated as badly as Captain Cold is, he's like, yeah, you guys are right, you know? And that was my second thing, was the second big thing I had, actually. So I have 2 big things with this one. That reality gun just seemed too convenient. Like, Palmer's a plumber or like a super for like the building. Mm-hmm. And he creates this thing out of whim, like
that's what I did. Works exactly. It's
too convenient.
That's one thing I had a problem with. Everyone seems to have these, I guess, visions saying this isn't right, this world isn't right.
Well, not everybody has those visions.
That's my point.
Oh,
that it seems like everyone hits that except for Stein, and that's what doesn't make his whole argument. So the team gets their memories back. Jax breaks in
this reality gun that, like, the way Steele says it is, it's an Apple Z or like a undo, and it gets their minds back to the realities of the real one, not the one with the spear. Continue.
So, the team breaks in. They're trying to. So one thing I really liked was the Legion of Doom headquarters. Mm-hmm. I never thought I was going to see that in live action, and to see
the Hall of Justice either, or the Justice Society of America.
So great things.
Yeah.
Things that people probably have been wanting to see since they saw it in the comic book pages.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is like probably the first live action reenactment or showing of it, probably, right?
And then
crazy.
The last thing that I really loved was the interactions between the Legion. Their banter back and forth. Perfect group.
Really, you gonna take time to monologue? That whole stuff
exactly.
Was funny.
Yeah.
And then when
I thought it was a good monologue.
Yeah, when he gets out, she just had to monologue, didn't you? Merlin and Damien are like a good buddy cop, huh?
Yeah.
And then, Eobard wasn't as funny this episode, right? The only thing he said was, hey, look it, thanks to my reality, you have your hand back. You can actually clap. That was the best line he had.
Great banter between Legion of Doom.
And speaking of great banter, what other great banter did we hear this week from Curtis and Felicity over on Arrow, Pablo? What happened this week?
This week on... What did happen? On Arrow...
I could take it if you want.
No, go ahead. Throw it.
I already did.
This week on Arrow, we had Oliver and the team dealing with the consequences of Adrian breaking Oliver's spirit. So we see the fallout.
Team, yeah.
We see the fallout. A broken team, how they're trying to rebuild, how they're trying to pick up Oliver, and that's pretty much it. And Adrian's still out and loose. Still, can no one hear him? He's walking around City Hall, making all these threats. But yeah,
he's like. It's almost as bad as in like Revenge of the Sith, where it's like, clearly this guy's Palpatine, right? Like, this guy's a Sith. Spoilers for Revenge of the Sith, people. I like the whole scene with Team Arrow versus the Bratva, but why was he not wearing the suit? Is what I didn't get in that. He was just wearing the mask. He was like, oh, you're not even wearing your mask. You have guns and blah blah blah.
Who?
Arrow. He never put on the suit this episode.
Yeah, he explained it. He's not ready to put on the suit.
Oh, must have been something I missed. But yeah, that was cool. The fact that they have to save them. That Adrian chase scene where, like, I like the whole thing with Spartan. Spartan's like, just because we don't have our team leader doesn't mean we can't be fighting for the same reasons. Mm-hmm. I like that whole thing.
That is one thing I liked also, how the team was being proactive. They weren't waiting around this time. And it was just, all right, it's up to us. We got to help out Oliver during this time. So let's kick it up a notch.
Oh, man. I think Adrian should have just, like, almost murdered Mr. Terrific or whatever. Because that fight, I was like, there's no way that this guy's like a League of Assassins trained guy, and he's not even taking him out that badly. But that whole scene was cool. It was a little slow pace, slow beginning, because then I thought, honestly, like, I know.
I also like that we had Anatoly come back.
Yeah, that was cool.
He's always a fun character. Always has a great story, and
We've had a
seen
lot of him this season.
We've seen him progress since on the island.
I like the whole thing too of like when he's like, this isn't the Anatoly I knew when I left, and he's like, it's because you left I had to become this. That was super cool. That little thing on the top of the building, I like that a lot.
Exactly. The fight scenes,
as always,
flashbacks, present time, they're always on point. And I'm glad that it's gotten back to this point.
I'm glad Canary got some action. I feel like we haven't gotten much from her anymore. I like the whole thing with Mr. Terrific where he's like, all right, so who's the new Arrow? And it's like, obviously, Spartan's the Arrow. And he's like, well, I'm the new Felicity. And then which one of you is the new Diggle? And she's like, you're right. He's more Diggle. That's such a Diggle answer. She's like, damn it, you're right. I don't think this is stupid. I honestly liked Felicity, though, in this episode.
She was in her space, was fine. The thing I disliked, where is this story going?
We'll find out next week, or in 2 weeks, or in 3 weeks, whenever it comes back.
Where is this story going? What's it called? With Helix.
It's Helix?
They injected it too late. I think so.
Yeah.
And if what the rumors are true, it's going to be resolved in the next 2 episodes. That is probably a 5-part story. Why was it needed in this season?
Pablo, we just went over this. They've had at least 6 good seasons of Arrow trapped in this 5th season.
I'm just saying.
They're rushing this for some reason.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is probably the worst episode because of this reason. It took 6 days to break Oliver, correct?
Sure.
In a 2-minute speech, I guess I'm fine. Let's get back to work. Did you have a problem with that?
I didn't really think about it like that because it happened. It would have felt way more impact if we had seen him gone for at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
That's exactly my point. I had a major dislike that. It made it seem like it was a night.
It did.
He was gone a night.
If it wasn't for you telling me it was over 6 weeks, unless I have that episode.
Well, it's 6 days, not 6 weeks.
Yeah, good point. I never thought of it because it wasn't. I thought it was the next day. It was only a few hours.
No, yeah, he was gone for 6 days.
And where's Talia?
Who knows? But yeah, 6 days. You're fixing a speech. Really, that's how you're gonna set everything right. Yes,
it was a good speech.
Yeah, it was a Diggle speech. When are they not good?
This is true.
But those are just my thoughts of what I liked and disliked. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
I liked how Curtis figures out where Helix is randomly. He just walks in. Chris, what are you doing here?
Hey, this is where I parked my car.
Oh, cool. We've got Overwatch and Mr. Terrific here. How the hell did you know that? Like they're like, where Helix kind of like you gotta know everything.
I mean, get going. You're running out of time.
Me or
them?
Oh, and also, what can't Curtis's balls do now? They're able to get that scanner out of his jacket.
I don't know. It seems like they're going to be overpowered.
What's stronger, Curtis's balls or the Flash's bad guy this week, Kadabra guy? Go.
Kadabra easily.
I don't know. Those balls.
Yeah, but they're limited by 21st century technology.
Good point. That's why Paulo's on this
See,
show.
that's why I see my side through a red lens.
And mine through eyes blue.
But, I mean, that's just our reviews. So how about we rank the episodes this week?
Legends number 1.
Well, how about we start with the bottom?
At the bottom, it's got to be Supergirl or Arrow for me.
I'm going Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Legends.
I guess I'll agree with that.
And I don't even mind switching Arrow and Supergirl.
Okay, then. So tied for 3rd place would be Arrow and Supergirl.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, because we can have them both tied for 4th.
Flash.
Right. Flash.
We agreed. And, of course, Legends was the best show.
As it's been this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been DC on TV this week. Don't forget to like, comment, let us know what you thought. Something's obviously wrong with you if you think Arrow was better than Legends.
But if you do, let us know why in the comments down below.
Yeah, I'd be super down to know. And Pablo will fight you. Not just over the keyboard. He will go down to your house, mano y mano, because he is part Hispanic, and he will fight you.
That's racist.
Also, he is a bad hombre. He will fight you.
Also, don't forget to follow us over at Screenophiles over on Instagram.
Link to the Instagram in the description down below. Don't forget to also check out First Time Viewings. Do you like getting reviews from a guy who's really too close to this camera? Then you'll love First Time Viewings. It's shot in under 2 hours. It's 2 minutes long, one take. Who does this guy think he is? The next Alejandro Inarritu? That was watching Birdman last time.
You can also follow them at FTB_entertainment on Instagram and keep up with everything that they do.
God, that's a huge Instagram handle.
I couldn't find FTV. It was taken by some Japanese or Chinese thing.
Sounds about right.
But that's it.
There goes the inner workings of an Instagram account.
But that has been everything on Screenophiles this week. Tune in next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
I know your taste in comic book movies and stuff like that. I thought you were going to be like, what is this, a show where the guy's not even dressing as a character anymore? I thought you'd like easily hate this. What did you think of it?
No, I didn't really have a problem because it made sense story-wise, and that's my whole thing. As long as it makes sense in the story, I'm for it. You know,
like Spider-Man 3.
Exactly. Who doesn't want to dance around?
Whoever makes a GIF of this will get all the money I own.
Pronounced GIF.
Whoever makes a GIF of this will get all the money I own.